A second day of racing in Il Giro d'Abruzzo, and now we move into the Pescara province. A similar length to stage one and similarly difficult, if not harder. 138 kilometres, full of climbing from Tocco de Casauria to a uphill finish in the medieval town of Penne. Again, summery, bright sunshine greeting the peloton as they signed on for the start of what would be a dynamic day of racing. The flag dropped and a very long battle to form the early breakaway of the day started, with a number of the Italian continental teams trying to get in a move on a day where potentially the breakaway with a reordered general classification might find an opportunity to ride to victory in Penne. It would be a day when the World Tour teams would have to concentrate and keep a lid on the ambitions of the lesser teams, and they attacked straight away from kilometre zero. 35 kilometres it took before any kind of a breakaway established itself, as rider after rider from team after team launched themselves off the front and the peloton was all strung out. And then eventually, on the first categorised climb of the day, two riders did go clear, including Samuele Zoccarato and Simone Petilli of Intermarché Wanty. They took the first two places over the top of the first super category climb of the race, and Zoccarato moved into control of the King of the Mountains competition. Spectacular scenery then as UAE Team Emirates moved to the front to try and control things for the race leader Alessandro Covi. One or two riders with mechanical difficulties at the back of the peloton, including Filippo D'Aiuto. And still, Petelli and Zoccarato had a 30-second lead as they headed for the next climb of the day. Q36.5's Damien Howson launched off the front, and through the intermediate sprint, Stevie Williams just got there ahead of Damien Howson to deny him the one extra bonus second in the general classification. That was it then for Simone Petilli. Zoccarato was left up front all on his own, with the ambition remaining of taking the last categorised climb before the finish line, the Forca di Penne, and adding 5 points to his tally and firmly in control of the King of the Mountains competition. Moves off the front to pick up the minor placings in the King of the Mountains competition. And trouble as well for one or two riders at the back of the bunch as UAE Team Emirates had control, and then there was a moment of difficulty for the rider in the white jersey, Alessandro Fancellu, who had to chase back on and managed to get back into the peloton, the rider in the white jersey. Zoccarato still off the front, and Zorlo distanced in the King of the Mountains competition. He would be surrendering his lead to the man from Polti Visit Malta, who was eventually caught with 16 kilometres to go on the descent off the final uncategorised climb. It was his team, Polti Visit Malta, who then went to the front. There was a big attack that came off the front from a rider from the Biese Carrera team, and Polti Cometa then restoring order. 3 kilometres to go. They were still on the front and they would take it a long way up the climb before Ivo Oliveira of UAE Team Emirates, with around about 1,500 metres to go, launched off the front, blasted clear. Georg Zimmermann of Intermarché tried to peg him back, but the Portuguese held on to win by 4 seconds. A brilliant solo victory, a rare win for Ivo Oliveira, the domestique from UAE Team Emirates. The team made it 2 wins in 2. Filippo Fiorelli picked up another second place behind him, but Oliveira delighted to take the victory. A 4th career win ahead of Fiorelli and Marco Brenner in 3rd place. All those riders picking up bonus seconds, and those bonus seconds propelled Filippo Fiorelli to the lead of the general classification, at least for a day ahead of Alessandro Covi. Fiorelli also leading the points standings by just 1 point. And a change in the King of the Mountains as Zoccarato moves into the blue jersey. And a change as well in the white jersey. Marco Brenner, courtesy of his time bonus at the finish line, in the white jersey going into stage 3.